I'm drinking water. Drinking water simply because I am nervous to do this video. I don't know why. If you are new here, by the way, igama ngu Asanda Wakantini, and I am, for the relevance of this post, let me tell you what I am. I am an admitted attorney at law since February 2023, and I'm currently in the non-practicing role, but slowly moving back into it. Or maybe should I say fast moving back into the practicing role, whatever the word is. But yes, I am an admitted attorney. So for women like me to be able to say things like, when introducing ourselves, that I am an admitted attorney, it took women like Sonia and Una to be rejected into practicing law simply because when courts at that time were interpreting the word fit and proper person as we know it now, though it was said a suitable person, they felt or they believed that to interpret or to add women into that word makes them a person, and they are not a person for particulars of that statute at that time, which is one of the strangest things. So we women at that time, women were women for other spheres of the economy. It was even said they are to breathe home, continue izinto zasendlini. That's what women were for. And at that time, maybe at that time it was relevant, but we are grateful for the rejection, I guess, of those women, that now we are able to stand firm and say we are admitted attorneys, to now be able to say we are now judges, because to now even say we are judges of the Constitutional Court, justices in the Constitutional Court, a female, but the highest court in the land is not led by a female. And we are at a time where we've not had that yet, but we are grateful that the Supreme Court of Appeals, which is the highest court for all legal matters besides constitutional matters, was led by a woman for the very long time. Not very long time. I think she took office in 2011. I will have my dates mixed up, but on my blog, I promise you, it's there. If it's not there, I'll put it down below, or I'll put it on the screen. It's only now that we are now seeing, and what's strange to me, what remained strange even when I was watching the interviews for Deputy Chief Justice Mandisa Maya and also Judge President Phoyo Dlwati, she was also asked, so as a woman, how would you be? I've never heard somebody ask a man coming into an interview, how will you navigate fatherhood and being the Justice of the Constitutional Court? Comment down below and send and put a link. There are videos of interviews for judges all judges in the country who have permanent posts, who took permanent posts for the past 2 years, I think. Let's just give it that, 2 years. They have their videos on the Judges Matters page, or if it's not there, go on to the JSC website to find their interviews. Comment here and tell me a time where a female was asked how will they navigate, a male rather, was asked how will they be able to navigate being a male and holding a position of the job that they are being interviewed for. It's never a question, because the default is man. I say this, and I always say that, and I said it even in the blog that I'm speaking about, that everything is seen to be at default by men. Everything is seen that the standard is men and then every other thing falls over. We don't need to question anything about a man. And you see this even in small spaces, like when interacting with a person. I know when I was in court most of the time, maybe sitting outside, I used to enjoy sitting outside and listening to people's issues around outside the maintenance or I know, outside the maintenance or DV courts. I'll just sit there and just listen to people without my gown. I'll get in court, leave my stuff, because some would wait for like the time to start court. I'll leave my stuff and then walk out and then start conversations with people or listen to people's conversations. And obviously while interacting with people come down to you, and then before court starts, I just go into court, take my gown, wear it. Then when I come out, without a fail, a male or a very old woman, or not even a very old woman, but a woman would say, wazowenza umsebenzi onzima intombazane. A guy in my age, and I know that one of the candidate attorneys was a male and he was younger than me. Yeah, won't say his name here, but I know that he was younger than me. No one even said anything about him being young. Or if they thought it, they wouldn't say it out loud because it's a male is supposed to do the job of an attorney. But even now, 100 years later, people like me still have to answer to the question of you female or you young. Ageism and sexism are a thing even right now, even in the almost 30-year-old constitutional democracy of South Africa with section 174 all over the place. We do have that. It's wild to me that we have to answer to those questions. It's even wild to me that there's still a thing of saying, no, we need to put women into these spaces. There was a program for women judges that was established this year, women judges training. Why have we not had a constitution or a constitutional democratic country where opportunities are given throughout the years for women in the same way as male to act, to do that, to be prepared to join the bench in the same way that a male is? Why has that not been a thing that we now have to create a space simply for women, simply because they are not there enough, they are not suitably qualified enough, simply because they had not gotten the qualifications or the training? Those are some of the issues that feel like, no, we know a man for the job. I spoke in my blog about Judge Thandi Norman. She's in the Eastern Cape Division the last time I checked. She used to be here in KZN, and she was also part of the panelist in the JSC for a very long time. Brilliant. I don't know if she's still part of the panel, I'm not sure. Brilliant judge and an advocate, brilliant advocate at that time. I was shocked to hear that in 2015, she had to put it in a speech that actually there was a time where a male walked out of my chambers or walked out of my offices simply because they were expecting to meet a male Norman, because the Norman that they had of was a great attorney or a great lawyer, not a female. What do we need to do in order for us to be recognized? Not to play victim, because I know there's this loud thing of saying that people just want to be victims. It's been 29 years of democracy. It's been 29 years since we've had our first black can you imagine? It's only been 29 years that we've only had our first black female judge, who was selected, Justice Yvonne Maholo, or Mahobo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I will put it on the screen as well. But it's only 29 years that she was the first black person, somebody like me, somebody who I can look at and say, it's possible for me. It was not possible for somebody my age studying in the legal practice, studying in the legal profession in about 60 years before 1994 to say, okay, now we have the Women Practice Act. It's possible for me to even end up as a judge in court, simply because no black woman was ever selected for that. And there's still a very few number of black women that are participating in these spaces. If there are, they just winding it. Very few of us are given opportunities to thrive. Very few of us are given tools to enable us to drive to the level of as many people as there are. When you look at Deputy Chief Justice Mandisa Maya, when you look at her CV, the kind of work that she's done, you ask yourself, how is it that there was even a doubt that she would be the Chief Justice? It didn't make sense to me, in the same way that she was the preferred candidate or the nominated candidate or the one candidate that the JSC committee sent out to the president to elect, and he chose not to. Some of the things that make us say, why is it that 29 years later, let's forget about the 100 years, 29 years later, it's still difficult to say, let's put women in leadership. Because yes, we have women in these positions, we have women as judges, we have women as magistrates, but hardly as women in leadership. Especially in mostly traditional places or areas like KwaZulu-Natal, you hardly find women in leadership. It's only now that, okay, our premier is female. For the very first time ever, our division is led by a female. But this is only happening in 2023. This is only happening in 2023. And when they put women in those leadership positions, everything that is possible, everything that they do, every wrong step that they take, the answer to their wrongdoing is simply because you put a woman there. Why would you even give a woman that opportunity? The only fault that they have most of the time, or let me rather say, the first fault that's found is the fact that they are female. Every other thing, yeah, no, okay, but shouldn't have put a woman in that position. Why? My question is always why? Why? And it's quite wild to me that in a profession about justice and equality, where things like equality you'd expect and things like equal opportunity you'd expect doesn't necessarily happen. And yes, we celebrate women like Ms. Finga, who was the first black woman to ever be admitted as an attorney, but that happened many years later, many years after the first woman was an attorney. It was in 1923 plus 1926 that Mary Hall was an attorney, but it was only in 1967 that we saw a first black woman being admitted as an attorney. And we still have a very long way to go, because in as much as we have so many females, black females at that, being admitted as attorneys, right now when you go to the demographics of practicing attorneys, very few females are practicing it in law, simply because you go into law and you realize that actually this place is not yet tailored to fit a person like me, looking like me. I don't have the proper tools to thrive. Some thrive, in the desire to thrive is inkani, and obviously the proper support. If you don't have that, you're unlikely to thrive. You're unlikely to even swim, not even thrive, but just be able to swim and say, okay, I'm swimming above the water. It's just boiling. And very wild that right now I'm having this conversation. It's all over the place, but should you want to read about the 100 years of females being able to be attorneys, advocates, notary publics, conveyancers in South Africa, I do have a blog up, and we celebrate this year, and we ask for 100 more years. And I put it as a challenge to myself and to every other person that let's get into practicing law. Let's not just get the t-shirt of admitted and go back to being admin people, because most of the time we are the company secretaries, we are the legal administrative officers in government departments, not the state attorney, not the prosecutor. There are a few of us there, but very many of us are afraid to say, I'm going to go hands-on to this profession and practice it as the women that wanted it so bad 100 years ago. I still want it for the children that follow me, and I hope that channels like this and any other thing that I do encourages a young black female, that if Asanda did it, if Desiree Fingla in 1967 was able to say, I'm going to practice law, it should be possible for women like me. If Justice Mandisa, Deputy Chief Justice Mandisa Maya is there thriving, it's possible. It's still very much possible, and we're still going strong. Anyways, with that said, thank you so much for watching. And if you are going to be writing your exams, if you just wrote your exams, good luck and keep going forward. We deserve to be a part of this profession.